Omni Hotel operations that he would no longer work at that facility during his off hours. The
And he
third,
was security.
go ahead.
Yep, he was security at the Omni when he was working there.
Right,
Yep.
right. So it's just like they basically was telling people what was going on. Listen to this. The third member of a trio of men accused of child molestation involving young boys received a 30-year prison sentence in Fulton County Superior Court Thursday. John David Wilcoxon, 55, of 1980 Compton Drive, Southeast, was convicted on 2 counts of child molestation and 1 count of sodomy. 2 other men, Lionel St. Louis and Francis Nathaniel Hardy, both of Atlanta, already have been sentenced to, is that 13 and 30 years respectively. So
Yep. 12.
they put this money, they put it out here about the money. They put it out here about Eldrin Bell, who was a suspect at one point, who allegedly was a pedophile and allegedly got like a 12-year-old girl pregnant back in those days. He was doing security off hours at the Omni Hotel where we know these children were going, and that it was a pedophile pickup spot. He was actually doing security there. And then right
And,
after that article, they put the information in here about Wilcox and Hardy in St. Louis. Wow.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Wilcoxon sentenced May 21st.
He was sentenced the same
Mm.
day as the bridge incident.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
And yeah, and Eldrin Bell also, he was given unauthorized use to helicopters and police cars. That being to
Mm-hmm.
to the movie, but he's willing to do it
Mm-hmm.
there. Is he willing to do it somewhere else?
Probably.
Wow.
Mm.
There's some deep doo-doo right here. What's up, Crux? Okay.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Can you
Hey.
hear me?
Good.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
All right. Okay. So y'all ready to see the next one?
Yep.
Oh boy. You can't make this shit up. You cannot make it up. Which one, Hollis?
Um, on the big one, do the other story that's on the grant.
So not the one about let's see. Which one is that? Is that the skinny one?
This one's got a picture of Arthur Langford on it.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's this one. Right here. That one, right?
Yes.
Okay. So y'all want me to read it?
Um,
Which you want
Mike.
me to start on the bell again?
on which one? Either one.
Yeah. So and this is all around the same time because it's talking about
Oh,
same
the
story.
Bell one.
Yeah.
The Bell one. You could probably go to I sent you 3. I think
Uh-huh.
you could probably skip to the end of the Bell one on
On the other one.
Yeah.
So you want to just read about the city council?
Yep, that's good.
Okay. And this shows that there were city councilmen that probably and women that probably knew what was going on, and this is how they got their palms greased for turning a blind eye.
What date is this article? Is it a date on here?
These are all from May 19th.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's
City
busy week.
council, right? City council votes itself a 42% raise. With only 3 nay voices, the Atlanta City Council voted Monday to raise its members' pay from $8,800 to $12,500 per year, and the council president's salary from $12,500 to $18,500 annually. The raises become effective only after January 1st, when the council elected on August 8th will take office. The total pay package will cost Atlanta taxpayers $72,000 a year for incumbent council members who are reelected. Monday's actions will mean a 42% raise. The council president's salary will raise by 48%. Voting against the increase, somebody got mute, which passed on a voice vote, were council members Mary Davis, Rob Pitts, and Dozier Smith. Wow. Rob Pitts. He was wow, that's crazy. Rob Pitts seemed like he was a good man. I told y'all about him.
He voted against it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Pitts was the one who ran against Shirley Franklin and was like, "Why won't you release who your political campaign contributors were?" Because Shirley Franklin allegedly got into office with BMF dope money. You remember that, Rashida?
I do, and her ex-husband ripped off Richard Pryor too. He was an attorney.
Yeah, I think she's a former cop.
Was she? I don't think she was a cop.
And
I don't.
her husband, her ex-husband also got caught in that scandal at the airport.
Ah.
Yeah. It was like some
Wow.
sort of money laundering scheme or something like that at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
But she, Shirley Franklin goes all the way back with Maynard Jackson in the very beginning of
Right.
all the crooks in office in Atlanta.
Was she working with him when he first got elected as mayor in the 70s?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say either her
He was
or her
the
husband I think her or her husband was a cop at one point. Her or her
maybe
ex.
he was earlier in his career, but he was an attorney as well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's see. The voice vote with council members Mary Davis, Rob Pitts, and Dozier Smith. Council President Marvin Arrington and Councilman Ira Jackson were absent from the meeting. Councilman Arthur Langford Jr. presided to Arrington's absence. James Howard, who chairs the committee on council that recommended the $12,500 pay to the full group, quipped the job of councilman raises the job holders are another matter. A column by Frederick Allen, 1C. Okay. After the salary action, Mr. Chairman, 3 people just decided they're going to give their money back to the taxpayer. The council's action was quick and without, what is that? Rancor. Apparently, according to a script worked out last week in a secret strategy session called by Arrington. Shortly after that meeting, council members predicted that the pay hike originally set at $15,000 by a citizens task force then dropped to $13,500 by the council would fall to $12,500 or so before it passed and would pass without a roll call vote. Sure enough, the committee on council met for 11 minutes Monday morning and amended without dissent or discussion the Atlanta City Charter's amendment. Amendments on pay for council members and council president. Ooh. All right. Anything about that y'all want to talk about?
The timing of it, again, it just sounds like this was a big money grab.
Mm-hmm.
But they say it was coming from the taxpayers. But,
yeah.
And did it go where they said it was going to go? Has anybody checked?
More than likely, it didn't.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Okay. So now, where's the other one? Oh, here we go. This is the good one. This is the good stuff right here, Rashida.
Okay.
This the good stuff right here, sis. Ooh, these folk were funky. These was some funky motherfuckers in Atlanta, boy.
Atlanta politics.
Man, this crazy right here, though. This is crazy. You see what it says, right?
I can't see it.
Andy Young probed on ties to Porn King.
Oh, God. What's the guy's name? The white guy?
Michael Thieves.
Michael Thieves, yeah.
Yep. By Frank Van Riper and Jeffrey Anteville, Washington News Bureau. Attorney General Griffin Bell has been personally directing an investigation into allegations that United Nations Ambassador Andrew Young interceded with federal prison authorities in exchange for a substantial political donation from a convicted pornographer and arsonist known as Atlanta's Porn King. Young, a former Atlanta congressman and a close friend advisor to President Carter, strongly denied the charges in an interview with the News. He said that he considers them to be part of a smear campaign by right-wing opponents to force him out of the UN post. The White House and the Justice Department yesterday promised statements explaining the precise status of the investigations. The president's press secretary, Jody Powell, said Saturday that he had been informed by Bell that Young had been cleared of any wrongdoing. Since then, other sources familiar with the investigation, which included allegations that as much as $400,000 was channeled into the Carter Presidential Campaign Committee by the jailed Atlanta smut peddler Michael Thieves, told the News that the investigation is still underway and that litigation is still underway. And that testimony would be taken on the matter this week by an Atlanta grand jury. Young acknowledged that he did ask federal prison authorities early this year to provide a medical furlough for Michael Thieves, a convicted pornography and reputed mob figure who has close ties to Atlanta's Democratic Party and Black community. Young and his aides said that, like other congressional offices, they had performed similar services in the past for many constituents, including some death row inmates who appeared to be receiving unfair treatment. Young said he is aware that his connection with Thieves had been investigated by the FBI, which interviewed him last spring, but he insisted that, as far as he knew, the case had been closed with no charges made. A
As
Justice
far as you knew, wouldn't you want to know if the FBI had cleared you?
right,
Maybe they didn't clear him. Maybe they just had some on him.
right. A Justice Department spokesman asked by the news last week whether the investigation into allegations involving Young and Thieves had been ended, replied in Bell's name, the Thieves matter is in its entirety is an active investigation. The Attorney General has been briefed on the matter over the past several weeks. It is receiving his personal attention. The inmate told officials that Thieves had told him that he channeled 150,000 into Carter's presidential campaign through Young. The informant said that Thieves also told him he had contributed an additional 250,000 to the Carter campaign through former budget director Burt Lance, another Georgia friend and advisor to the president, who resigned under fire last month. The money was allegedly laundered in the Bahamas to hide his origin. Thieves lawyer Robert Eugene Smith of Atlanta said he knows nothing of any allegations against Young, but is aware that the U.S. attorney in Atlanta is investigating the matter. A key figure in the investigation is believed to be Pat McLean, Thieves' bookkeeper, who has been subpoenaed to appear before a federal grand jury in Atlanta today, reportedly to answer questions about allegations that Thieves funneled money into the Carter campaign. Ms. McLean was served with the subpoena while was visiting Thieves at the medical center for federal prisoners at Springfield, Missouri last month. Sources speculated that Attorney General Bell, another close Carter advisor from Georgia, had taken control of the case, not only because it allegedly involves the president's campaign fund, but because of sensitivities after the Lance resignation. The government's unidentified informant, whose charges against Young were similar to those that the FBI had investigated earlier in the year, reportedly quoted Thieves as saying that Young had helped him deal with prison officials in return for the campaign donations.
I mean, Thieves
Denied,
was a
wait.
uh-huh.
Denied getting money. Young and his former congressional staff aides who handled the Thieves matter denied that any money was ever received from Thieves or that there had been any discussion or a possible contribution they made available to the news. Their voluminous file on the case. which gave an indication that money was involved, but which showed that Young had sent one letter to prison authorities on Thebes' behalf on United Nations stationery after he had left Congress to become the U.S. ambassador and a member of Carter's cabinet. Wow.
See,
So you
this
see,
article is giving, this article is reeking of, see, what had happened was,
Right.
I mean, like, you go really get a medical furlough and do these favors for a multimillionaire and
Right.
get nothing in return. I mean, come
Right.
on.
Right.
yeah, that's how politics works.
It was so noble of Andy Young not to accept any money from my
Man, this shit
That's
crazy.
the kind of guy he is. Yeah.
Man, this shit
That
crazy.
upstanding.
Man.
And you see, Jimmy Carter put his attorney general, what's his name, Griffin Bell, and he's Atlanta resident, so he put him on it to make it go away.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, this shit crazy.
And he showed up in Atlanta on the May 20th and 21st.
Man, this shit
I wish I
crazy.
used to pull up the flights, all the flights for like leading up to the 21st, like around that time. It would be interesting to see who all was flying into Atlanta, but they probably weren't flying commercial, I guess, if they were coming from Washington.
Right.
But it would be interesting to know who flew in to Atlanta,
Right.
maybe around the time.
Right. That shit crazy, man. Crazy.
So yeah, they had opened up a task force on well, let me see what the exact name of violent criminal acts, and this Griffin Bell was co-chair.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they were here on May 20th and 21st. And they weren't talking on the murders, but they were talking on how when things like this come up, how it is handled between federal and state and local.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
But yeah.
Man, this shit crazy, man. It's crazy, Rashida.
Yep.
Good old Andy. Man.